Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Contemporary Street Theatre Festival SPOT. This is the second day of festival's online educational program, in which we're talking about what it means to create in public space. Yesterday, we had two very interesting presentations. Ekaterina Lavrinets talked about how to co-create the neighborhoods through art practices. And Benjamin Van de Walle shared his experience about internalizing the black box. You can find both presentations online. And today we continue our program with B-Flat and its members, Ward Mortier and Thomas Decaesstecker. B-Flat is a Belgian circus company that specializes in acrobatic performances in public space. Today, they are going to share their acrobatic journey in public space, as well as their point of view on how to adapt to different environmental and social contexts based on the principles of parkour. B-Flat actually was supposed to attend this year's SPOT festival, but due to coronavirus, their performance Follow Me had to be postponed till next year. Nevertheless, we are excited to talk to them today about their creative process, including this particular performance. My name is Monica Gimbutaitė. I am a culture journalist and I will be moderating this session. I'd like to know that after the presentation, there is going to be a Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. You can write your questions in the comments section. So hello, Thomas. Hello, Ward. Thank you for joining us today. And I can't wait to hear what you have to share with us. The floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Monica, for the introduction. We are very excited to present our project to you today. It was a very pity that this year's festival we wouldn't be able to come. But we're happy that we can still share some ideas with you by this way.
And we come next year.
Next year we'll be coming to SPOT if everything's fine. Let's hope. Let's cross fingers. So today we will first give you a little introduction of who we are and what's our company about, what's our work. Then we will speak more specifically about our
performance.
The performance Follow Me, which we should play in Lithuania this year. And after we will talk about some variations on the theme and then our future projects. So first of all, my name is Ward.
My name is Thomas.
And we're from Belgium. More specifically, we're from Ghent. We have a similar history together because we became real good friends while we started doing parkour 13 years ago. So we think parkour. It got more known during the time. Before it was a very unknown sport where youngsters meet on the street on different areas in the city. And where we train together, we jump over walls and we climb buildings and stuff together. So this was really how we got to know each other, through parkour, exploring actually different cities in Belgium and Europe in general. We're from Ghent, and Ghent is really where our friendship started to grow. We trained together all the time. It was kind of an addiction of going outside, making videos for YouTube, and filming bigger jumps, new jumps, different stories. And actually, we always were used to learn together. The idea, each one teach one, was from the start very important for us, and is still something we deal with every day. We think we can learn from everybody. Even someone with less experience can bring a new energy. So this eager to learn is very important for us. When we started, we were mostly exchanging with people who did slackline or breakdance,
capoeira,
triggers. So many different urban sports with a different vision, but with the same place of interest, people who are training outside in the urban environment. So yeah, it's a very underground way of training, of practicing sports.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually we really started from a sports way of going into culture. Our way into making a show and making an art piece was actually by going towards circus. So we got to know a small circus school in Ghent that asked us if we wanted to teach some classes of parkour. And of course, we were very excited. But at that time, we were both studying as a sports teacher. So we were learning how to teach to all different kind of people. So we went to the circus school, small circus school in Ghent, and we taught. But we also went to the open training, so a weekly meeting point where people trained their different skills. And for us, this was like a great discovery of different types of movement. So yeah, we started to try so many stuff, and eventually we start to work with a ladder, the circus technique, a balancing ladder. It's a very traditional type of discipline, yeah. But we found our own way of
using it and
combining our parkour knowledge with this ladder, and especially our friendship. So actually two bodies on one ladder wasn't done so much in circus, and it was from the start our research. This was also our first encounter with performing. Like before, we used to do like demos, which is like kind of a show off of like skills.
Yeah.
For what we could do with parkour, but this was never of a big interest, and even the frustration of like instead of showing off your skills, we have more to say than just the skills. So we actually started to play with the ladder and experience how it is to play on the street.
Yeah, and from the beginning we used the environment, like the physical environment, but also the people around us to inspire us when we were performing. So we went from the beginning very specific to the location, climbing everywhere, using the ladder to go up to things, or just using the people as our environment, like sort of in a way like we watched doing parkour in the cities, we watched performing with the audience around us.
So we're explaining actually where we actually come from. So we come from the street doing parkour, making first shows, till the moment actually I graduated in Ghent, and I decided to make an audition in a circus high school in Brussels, in ESAC. It's a École Supérieure des Arts du Cirque. It's a bachelor degree in circus arts. So I was studying 3 years in Brussels, and Key stayed in Ghent. So this was actually a longer period where our ways split it.
Yeah.
So I also practiced a lot less parkour because I was all the time doing circus. And Key, or Thomas, went to Chile for 1 year of traveling around and practicing circus abroad. But after 3 years of studying and traveling, we decided actually that it was time to make our first performance. And that's actually really where our story, where we're talking about today, the show that we're talking about today, that's the really place we started. So we wanted to make a parkour-based circus performance. So really something that was connected with the roots of parkour. So for us, this was very important. Like we didn't want to. We from the start we said we want to hold on to the 3 basic principles of parkour. And for us, these 3 principles are: we go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So that means also if we take the audience with us, the audience has the same experience. They also move from point A to point B. The second one, which is very important.
Yeah, we don't adapt the place to what we want to show, but we adapt ourselves to the place without putting other circus objects inside, or to use it as purely as possible.
Yeah, so we adapt ourselves. And the third one, I'm sorry, there's firefighters passing by. The third one is actually the respect for the environment, but also respect for yourself and respect for the people that live in a certain place. We will leave no trace once we've been training on a certain spot or we've been performing in a certain neighborhood. Afterwards we want to leave it in its original state. That's a very important one, because parkour often it's related, or people think you're doing vandalism or you're
breaking stuff or
you want to steal something. They relate it to something negative, and we really want to bring a positive image of young people moving through public space.
Yeah.
So, but to make this show, to make it happen, and to have a structure that's supporting the artistic idea, we needed to start a company. We wanted to make a demand of fundings and everything. So for us also, by making this show, we learned a lot more than actually just the artistic piece. We also learned how to build a production, find the right partners, bring together an artistic team, write the dossier, like put the right words on the artistic ID. And this was actually the start of B-Flat Association. So B-Flat is a company that's Thomas and me together. We created it as a duo. So we're always like in a kind of a ping pong. Like I would do it like this, and then Thomas say, oh,
maybe we could do it like this, and then.
But then I say, okay, if we do it like this, I understand we could win something, but actually I think it's better like this. So we're always connecting our ideas. But we know now that the DNA of B-Flat, it's very important to have like this kind of a trademark, a company that needs to have its own style and an own stamp or signature. For us as B-Flat, now we know that equality is very important. Equality between artist and spectator. The fact that we are no different to each other. So this is also choices you can see in the costumes. We wear very normal clothes. We use the space as it is. We don't build a stage, but
we want to. We stay on the same floor as the public. So we want to show them that we're not the artists that you see on the stage, but that we are just regular people like you, and maybe a little crazy. And we want to try also to take the people into our world, instead just watching on stage, but really take them in our world. And that's what we tried with Follow Me, to really let the people feel what we feel when we're doing parkour. There was instead of just demonstrating how it looks like, but really take them in the idea and the fantasy of climbing and doing things, and
actually to see their everyday space, the place they live. They walk to their work every day with the same structure. Often people, we want to like invite them to discover new areas or new pathways through their everyday neighborhood. That's also something very important for us. Something else that really defines B-Flat is the fact that we are really urban in the sense of we live in cities. We are always dealing with small spaces we need to share with other people. So for us, the urban character is very important. So I was talking before about finding the right partners for making a project, and I really do think this is super important to find the right organizations or the right people who can support you in your ideas. For example, when we started, we didn't prove anything, and these days, even more with Corona, we have the feeling that as an artist, you need to have proven something in a way to have a right on some. This is also about everything that's happening in Belgium, and the same in Lithuania, I think, about Corona. But here, for example, a young artist that didn't
make something yet, or made a name, is not supported, or it's not supported like the company that already made 5 shows and has a lot of funding for these shows. So in the beginning we started really like, they know Ward a little bit from the school, because people that in the school, the names are already there, but we didn't show anything what we're capable of. We were just there with the crazy idea, we want to take the people there and want to mix parkour with circus and take the people in our world, and all these crazy stories that we wanted to bring.
But we didn't prove anything yet, so they were like, okay, but who are you? Like, so it was very important to put the right words and the right ideas and come with the positive energy. And we found some really nice people, and it's again something we felt that it's an advantage of this type of work. If you work in situ, often it takes more time to make the show, but it makes also your relationship to the organizer quite close. But first of all, we would like to speak about Craig Weston. Craig Weston, he's a dramaturge, so he was actually the person that was supporting us in the artistic research at first to understand what we were actually wanted to make, and afterwards also really in the conceptualization of the thing. So Craig is actually he's more coming from street theater. He's now he's an older man from 60 plus. He's an American that came to France at his 20s to study at Le Coq in France, which is a theater school. In which he was working all the time in duo and trio work. So he's a really like expert in this type of play. And for us, we weren't used to we didn't come from theater, so playing wasn't our strongest point. So Craig really supported us in our first steps in our relation to each other and the relation to the audience. So first time we met was actually a meeting, like an introduction of who we are, and we said like, Craig, we want to show you what we do. We will take our ladder and have a walk in the neighborhood. Because mostly if we go on a residency, especially for Follow Me, people always give us a
space to work.
An inside space, a black box, or sometimes huge spaces. But we always actually went outside because we couldn't create without the environment. The environment is actually the basics of what we create. But Craig went with us on a hike, and we improvised. So through improvisation, we discovered different relations to each other, and he was able to actually put the right words on the things that worked or the things that didn't work. For example, he said like, that time you were climbing both at the same time going to the side. This is called something musical. It's musicality, for example. And we started to understand the different tools we could find.
The strengths of what we bring.
So Craig is actually, or whoever, just a dramaturg, someone who's outside of your project that's watching and that's following the process is always very necessary, and it's good to have a emotive feedback from someone exterior. You can also film and then look at it again, but every moment is different and every live experience is different. So but maybe it's the time, because we're talking about something that some of you didn't have seen yet. So we would like to show you actually the teaser video of Follow Me, so you see the different elements, and afterwards we will go more deep in different elements and why we made these certain choices. Okay, so Gittes, can you show the video, please? Gittes, does it work? Are we back? Yeah, I think so. This was a teaser video of Follow Me. So yeah, every project makes these videos for programmers and people. So for us, it was always like we didn't want to show too much to the people, but in a way, yeah, you need to give the feeling what it could be, because every site is different. Now you've seen images from 3 different shows, but till now we made, I think, 36 different routes, and yeah, we played for 83 times till now. So that's it's always different. But the different elements from the show that we used were, of course, the folding stools, this type of things, our ladder, and actually that's mainly it. That's the only elements we added to the public space. So to the space we bring 100 chairs and our ladder that we put somewhere in the space. The chairs are actually how to say, like a mobile stand. Everybody gets a chair at the start of the show, and then it's your seat through the show. And actually we came to the idea of using these chairs because we wanted it to be inclusive. Everybody should be able to see it. So we thought, okay, but an older person, they can't walk for 1 hour, so they should be able to sit down
and rest.
And so instead of giving only a chair to the older people, we gave a chair to everybody, which actually makes the group very visible. Everybody that has a chair is part of what we call the followers, and they are actually, during the show, they're a group, and they really have a strength. So this is also a key element in the show: the strength of the group, the strength of the people that walk along and that take part in the impact you bring in a certain neighborhood. They're kind of the volume. Yeah, we see them almost as a group of birds that are flying around together with us, and at a certain moment they decide we want to go and sit down. So everybody strikes down and they claim the space. Yeah, and this feeling is actually it's great, because claiming the space, it's really claiming the time also to occupy a certain place. For example, if we stop in the middle of the road and the cars can't pass anymore, they need to wait. And of course, during the process, the creation process, but also the playing process, we bumped into lots of conflicts. But these conflicts we will talk about later. First, the good practice. So yeah, the folding stools is also it's actually it makes the fact that we move from one space to another space very visible. If you want to see the show on a certain way, you need to take every time a different position. So if you want to see something, you need to go and stand a little further, for example, because someone is standing in front of you. So we also decided the people could always make their choice. They can always choose where they want to sit or stand or lay down the choice of an audience for us is very important. We don't want to be too directing. They need to be free in their choices. So we also have the ladder, and the ladder is our element. We hang somewhere in the city on our route where we're gonna pass, and when we pass by, we take the ladder. So this brings us to the fact that during the creation, we found out that we were gonna work with different chapters or different scenes that would be in every different place. They would be there.
We started with the idea, what are the things that we can use and that we can find everywhere? Doesn't matter if it's in a big city or if it's in a small town, but things that are always there. Like, for example, square. Every place has a square, or street, long street, for example, or more specific benches or poles that we can. What are the things that really are that you can find everywhere? And for these places or these things, we wrote or we made specific chapters. like when we come to a location, we can see, aha, here is a square, here we can play this piece, and then we need a long street, aha, here is a nice long street, here we can put this piece, and then there is a garbage bin, for example, we can use the garbage bin to play this piece. And like this, we have a puzzle that we can make with the location.
But sometimes we also find elements that are really, really specific to a certain location. Like for example, a statue or a building that's very unique and that's only for this place. And then it depends if you have the authorization to work with it or not. So, but for us, we love to work with specific elements, because then you really need to create something that's only for this performance, actually.
Yeah.
And that's always very how to say, challenging, and it always brings new material. So that way, the fact that you need to recreate every time to a different site makes that your creation process never stops, because you're always digging deeper or searching different solutions, because there's a problem and you need to solve it. It's, again, the roots of parkour is about adaptation. You always have an ideal situation or scenario that you think, oh, this would be great, but sometimes you don't have the authorization and you need to adapt. We have a very concrete example of this. For example, we're about to play in Leuven, and there is a big apartment. Leuven it's a small town in Belgium. There was a big apartment from 5 stories high, and at the floor level, ground level, people could pass underneath. So we said, oh, we have a great idea. We will our ladder will be hanging on top of the building. So that means we will climb on top of all the balconies. We go up, we take the ladder, we go over the building, and then we go down to the other side.
Yeah, and the people go underneath the building, so they see us climbing up, and then they pass with us underneath, and we pass over, and then they see us climbing down again with the ladder.
So their sensation would be, oh, we're walking under the building, and there's people walking over the building, but there's also people living in the apartment. So there's a lot of, everybody has its own reflections in what they see, but often the question is there, can they really do it? And for us, authorizations, it's not our problem. In a way, we say, we would love to do this. We communicate it to the organizer, and then the organizer can say yes or no. And for example, this great idea in Leuven, the organizer said no. So we just went under the building, and it was great as well.
Yeah.
So it was a nice experience, a nice thought, but then, eventually we didn't do it. Of course, then it's important to make sure that this happening, the fact that we go over the apartment, doesn't take a too big part of the performance. If it's too important, if you really need to do it to make the performance succeed or not, then the adaptation is more important. But the fact that the show consists of different chapters, if there is one chapter less or more, it doesn't matter. The complete performance is always there.
Yeah, because between the chapters, we always search to bring the maximum out of the specific location.
Yeah. So the idea was, could we swap orders from certain chapters, for example? We're talking about chapters, but we could also name it scenes or different parts of the performance. Could we swap them from a place? For example, if the square piece, should it be in the end, or can it also be in the beginning? Or this is something we discovered during tryouts, actually. We said in the creation, our premiere, we will not fix it yet. We first want to try out the most as possible to feel really how it works.
Yeah, because also we really integrate the people or the followers. So we need to try what's the energy that we can take or bring with the people. How can we take them inside the performance?
Yeah.
And with the chairs, it works very good, because the first time we played was in Brussels, and we started in the center, really the heart of Brussels. in the SPOT'20 in Hotel Ville, hoe zei je dat? The city house.
The city house.
The governmental house. Bon, never mind. So we started there, and we went out with the people, with the chairs, and they all had the chairs like this. And we came inside the Grote Markt, the big market, like the central place of Brussels with all the tourists and everybody that was passing there. So we came out like this, and then there was like an extra layer. We had the artists, you can call us the artists, and then you had the followers, which were for the people outside, also the artists.
They were also
so people were like, is this a flash mob? What's happening? So in this moment, we could really pull just the spectators inside the artist position, and we had like this double layer of performance. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's very nice if the people have the impression they're also part of something, that they contribute of the art piece that has been made, that they have an influence on the piece. But actually, they're always present in the show. Not only when there's different scenes and they take a certain formation. For example, if we play in a long street, as you've seen in the video, we put the people facing to each other. We call this the bifrontal piece. So we need a long street for it. But then actually we said to ourselves, we don't want to go to a walkabout where the people see one scene
and then they walk,
they applause, then they walk, they switch off the show, and then they see a next one. We really wanted it to be one performance, one experience
from point A to point B
in one time. So the action, actually the
displacement,
going to the other scene is actually also an action. So they take really part in this, and the people who see them walk by, they really have the feel, what are they doing? Is this a flash mob? But actually the people who came to the show weren't ready to do this. And it's also challenging. How can you take someone with you, make them feel fine, without them feeling obliged to do it? Some people are really, they don't want to do it. They're just, I'm here to watch. But it's making a connection. And this for us is very important in the starting spot. We need in team plays where there's only people who will see the show and that will get the chair. Because if not, they feel too much.
We don't want to have the feeling like you go to the performance and then there is one volunteer that need to be taken from the audience. We break this rule and we create a certain environment or a certain sphere that everybody is part of the same family, and it doesn't matter if you need to do something. At the end, we all participate and we all do the things.
Yeah, actually, in a group, a group can't exist without every different individual. So actually, in a group, you're just an individual, but it's very, very nice to feel if there is equality. Everybody has a chair and everybody moves around with the chair. So it's you get lost in the.
We get lost.
The group.
So to create,
I want to talk a little bit more about the authorizations and the importance of the organizer. To have an organizer that is really engaged in the process, that says we really need them to be with us in order to get the authorizations, because the organizer knows the neighborhoods. The neighborhood knows the organizer also. It's often a festival or an event that's been organized every year again or every 2 years. So they have a certain name. The people in the different areas, they know the festival. So for example, if we ask, hey, lady, we would like to pass in your house. Could we do it? It's a project from the circus festival. Then they're, I love this festival. Yeah, no problem. I'll be there. So that's actually a really nice way to make a triangular relationship between there is the people who live in the area, the locals, there is the organizer, and then there is also the artists. So there is this relation altogether is very important, and this makes it this makes the impact much bigger. The fact that we can really reach the local people. This is also for us very important to have the time to be somewhere and to work with the place. For example, we don't come, we plug our guitar, we play, we unplug, and we're gone again. It's not a plug and play show. It's a full process going towards the first performance.
Yeah, and we search also how can we let the neighborhood interact with the performance without really writing, now we need to have this or you need to do this, but really bring them inside. And most of the time they also come with moments, okay, you pass here. Well, if you want some water, I can put some water on the terrace so we can, we always invite them to just sit and watch the show passing by. So like this, you always have interactions with the local people who live there while passing with the show, and this is very nice.
And they don't forget it. It's really it's like the person who walks the tight wire between the two churches in a certain town. It's an image that everybody from a town remembers for years and years and years and years. And in a way, by doing this kind of interventions in public space, people remember it, and they say, do you remember these guys who brought 100 people with the chairs, and they came to sit in front of my door, watch to my house, and they climbed to the second window, and it's a very nice how to say, we don't leave a physical trace, but it's a trace that stays in the mind memory, in the mind of the people. So when we make this show, we have a very clear schedule that we communicate with an organizer, because they ask our technical writer, how do you do this? How do you make it? So we say we need to make a site visit, which is very important. A site visit that's well in front. We say at least 3 months. Yeah. So we can make the choices of the route, see the different sites. And often the organizer decides where it will be. So he will say, for example, I would love you to start to work in this area. Some others, they say you have a carte blanche, you can play wherever you want. But that makes it quite hard, because then you need to visit everything. So it's really, really fun if the organizer is also engaged, and that comes with clear propositions. I would love you to work with this building. That makes it actually
more easy for us.
More easy to make choices. So once we found out the route we want to make, we come to the festival 2 days before the first playing date. So that's actually, for me, that's the best part of this concept. We're not playing yet. We're just at the site. We meet the people from the festival. The festival is not going on yet.
Or it's building up.
Yeah, people are still, relaxed, some in a rush, but we're all together working towards the festival. And we're writing, directing actually our show that we're going to play. So they always see us walk around talking like, there we're going to do this, and ask weird stuff like, could we do this? Can you make this at that time? And so we try to involve the festival and the neighborhood in what's going to happen at those different timings. That's for me.
That's the most the nicest moment before even play the show, or even nicer than, because you really start to know the neighborhood, and you're walking and you start to knowing the people that live there in this apartment block where you want to play in front, and talking with them, and they invite you. You want something to drink, or we have a question like, it would be nice if we could go through the apartment. So we pitch the idea to them, and then there was always one that says like, you can do it. Yeah, it's very nice.
I will let my window open, and
you just pass. Maybe I'm home, maybe I'm not home, but it would be nice. Or when we played on the first time, we invite the people from the apartment or from the local place to follow the performance, to really know everything that we do afterwards.
And like this, they can, for example, we pass their house, and then they see what's happening. They close the door behind them, and they follow also so we have double layer again of audiences: the people with the chair and the people that add to it. So also for us, we really say this part of the recreation. It's also something that has its value, and that we defend that it's also a thing that's paid. So we are working actually on these days. The rehearsal is really part of the creation process.
Yes.
So then the question is to the organizer: how many times would you like us to perform? So we always say, oh, we want to at least play 2 times, because if we play 1 time,
it's a little pity to take 3 days in advance to create something and then just play it 1 time, because it's not that when we play there is a lot of people that can see it. We always need to be conscious. We just can take 100 people on our performance. So the more people that can watch it, the nicer it is to share the performance with these people.
But of course, there is the physical limit for ourselves. It's a quite intense show of 1 hour of acrobatics and climbing and jumping. And so we know that it's actually, now playing 2 times a day. We've been doing it because it's an advantage for the organizer. But now we know that if we want to bring the piece in its full strength, it's better to play only 1 time a day.
Yeah.
But this is also stuff we discovered while doing it. It's a process. The first time is always very charming. It's the first time you imagine something and you work towards it, the full process, and then we're at the moment we're gonna do it. And it's always you're a bit like anxious or more stressed because you don't know what's really going to happen. You imagine it to be like this, but maybe something on the route changed underneath, and we will need to adapt to it. And it's always very exciting. The first time it's a wild feeling, and also the way of playing is much more speed sometimes. And the second time we already did it.
We know the way,
and we go slowly. So that's a very, very fun feel, actually. Also, this is something we didn't mention yet, but we're working with a local drummer and a local driver. So this means we ask in our technical rider someone that can play the drum kit, and someone that can drive a car. They're actually 2 people that are part of the show. They're unknown, so they're wearing a black helmet and a black leather jacket. Yeah. And they're incognito, and you find them on different spots during the performance.
And you're not sure if they really are part of the performance or not, because we just pass them and it's just weird, some guy with the motor helmet standing still. But every time you pass them again, and at the end the big fight. But we cannot talk too much about it because we want to keep some surprises for you when you come to watch the show, of course. But
we're going to show you some pictures. We're going to share our screen, and we're going to show you some pictures about some anecdotes. So we will talk about what you see and how this was interesting for our process.
Yeah, we will start. When we were tryouting, we went to Slovenia, and in Slovenia we had the opportunity to play 5 times in 7 days in 4 different places.
So we started in Novo Mesto, and actually you see one wall here. This was the only wall that was present in the full town. So we really had to search for elements, because this was the only urban element over there. The rest was very rural and
residential.
Residential. But it was very nice to play only 1 time for the people. Yeah, they will not forget it very fast. Then we went to Novo Mesto, and here you can see Krško. And
before it was Novo Mesto,
This is Krško, and this is actually the 5 young kids who followed the show. This was a very small town, and there was only 25 people following us.
Yeah.
And top of the car, you can see our chairs and the ladder. So this is the end of the performance. And the kids were so excited that once we started running through the show, they were
running in front of us
and on our heels. They were so close. It was amazing. They were super excited, but only 25 people in the show. Then we went to Ljubljana, and here you can see Thomas, who's walking on top of a wall in front of a big Telekom Slovenia reclame. But there was a big problem because there was too much people. The organizer didn't install a ticketing, so we couldn't know how much people was going to come actually. So we had 100 chairs, but there was 200 people at the starting site. And the problem was, too much people in small places makes it impossible for us to bring the show, because we took them on the route, but it takes much more time. The people are much less connected. Yeah. They see much less, so it's much harder to really connect with them. And then, of course, you have the people with a chair and the people without a chair. So no equality. And this was for us very interesting, but we know that it's not going to happen. Especially because then it even got worse. We went to Italy, and there we played for 300 people. So 100 people with chairs and 200 people without chairs.
But we knew that the location, the starting point was told. So we knew there will be more people than we could have chairs to give them. So we calculated it all the way inside the performance. What if there is people without chairs? How can we take them also in the same trip, and what can we
split the people from the people with the chairs with no chairs? And very interesting. But at one point there was a big conflict because the bifrontal piece, as we were talking about, we the only place in the town where it was possible was in the garage, in the only garage that's there. So as you can see, we've put We've put
the people in chairs.
Yeah, the first line was the people with the chairs, and the second and third line were people standing behind it. So 300 people in a very small place with cars behind. And there was one Italian man, a local from the town there, a local man, who became super mad. He already yelled to us when we were rehearsing, but at this point there was 2 little children sitting on the cap of his car. Yeah. And for Italians, but not only for Italians, cars are sacred. They're holy, so you shouldn't touch a car. So he started to freak out, and he came just in front of me, of Ward, and he shouted in Italian, "Cazzo di merda!" Not good. He was even holding a knife. Of course, it was closed, the Swiss knife, but he was holding a knife and threatening me like, I will stab you. The people in the audience, like as you can see, there were children. They were shocked in a way. It was very intense as a moment. And then the organizer, he was present there, and he was able to go and have a coffee and talk with the person to calm down.
So we could continue.
We could continue, and then there is a piece where we ask actually the people who are sitting in front of each other to give hands and to walk in between the row of people sitting down. So it's like kind of it's a marriage, and it's you give a hand to someone you don't know. Now Corona is in town. This is
more hard to do,
But we're adapting. So always adapting to the situation. So another anecdote we want to tell you about is the one in Bruges, where we were playing 6 times. So 6 times the same route. The nice thing is, the more you play it, the more you know how it goes, and you really feel the freedom inside the structure, how much you can play with it. So we've decided that at this house, number 3, where these 3 people are living, that we would ring the bell. I was hanging Thomas at his feet at the first floor window, and then I would ring the bell. So the lady, she knew we were going to ring the bell.
The old lady,
but we didn't say you need to act, or we didn't say anything about this. So the first time we go there, she was actually just leaving. She had to go to a meeting, and we were going in the opposite direction, and we say, hey, join us, like, and follow us. And we were doing acrobatics, the people with the chairs following, and she saw the performance from there. The second time we passed there, she opened the door. She opened the door. She was standing there, and there was a small interaction. They shook hands while he was hanging upside down.
The third time we passed, she was just in the window.
The first floor window. She opened it, and she said hi to everybody. And of course, very very funny moment. The fourth time, she opened the door again, and actually Thomas asked if he could go inside. So he went inside, went to the first floor,
came out from the same window where she was sitting the day before, yeah.
And then he climbed along to the side, what we call traverseren, and then we continued the show. The fifth time, she was even higher up the building. She was in the second floor in a very, very small window.
Yeah, all in the top of the house.
Yeah. You can't see it in the picture, but it was a very, very cute image, like an old lady in the heart of Bruges, which is a very old town. It's very nice. And then the sixth time, the last time we were going to perform, we were quite physically, emotionally dead at this time. The sixth time, we called at the door.
And nobody was home.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. That was perfect, yeah.
Perfect ending of every time it was different, even though we've just written, we're going to ring the bell and we'll see what happened. And that's the nice thing of the freedom inside.
That's the beauty of it, yeah.
Then we had another interaction with a person, which is called Kurt. You can see him sitting on his balcony at the right-hand side. Actually, we wanted to find our ladder at that point. So we wanted to have a place where the ladder could hang or stand safely without people that could take it. So we asked Kurt there if we could we ring this bell and say like, hey, nice, that we would like to jump from the roof towards your balcony when the people are coming by. Can we do it? And he said yes. We had 2 shows that we were going to play, and this is the first one. So he knew we were going to pass around 2:00. He was home. So he went to sit on his balcony with his sunglasses and his nice shoes. So he was ready to see it. We didn't ask him to do it, but he did it. And as we've written, I climbed up to the roof and I made the jump for the people. And this is what we call a mental block, where it's a hard jump that's quite far and we need to really concentrate. We ask the people to not take their smartphones, because now more than before, even more, the people have this reflex to take their smartphone once there is happening something special. And instead of really living the moment, they prefer to film it. And this is for us very important.
Reflex, and we want to give them the exciting thing of seeing it live and not seeing it behind your cell phone, taking the picture at the same time to show it to your friends.
So every time it's different, and every moment has a different vibe and energy. And for us, it's very interesting to keep adapting to different situations. So we also made the choice in the last year to make adaptations, so variations. So for example, we made the show called Follow Me by Night, which is actually the same show, but in the night context. It's during winter, so it's much colder. This one is in December in a festival in Antwerp.
And we started right in the moment where the sun is coming down. So we started, there was still some light, people could see it, but we ended in the pitch black, just with the lights of the streets, and we had some lights of ourselves to make things visible, because how do you do it without really adapting all the route that you want to do with lights and scenery things? Because
as we said before, we don't want to adapt the space, but bringing a light, it's actually adapting the space. So we made the choice to keep it really minimal and add just a few lights, a few torches that are moving mobile with us, and if not, mostly use the infrastructure from the street. So here you can see the end of the show. We're standing on top of the car and we get back the chairs, and you see the drummer and the driver who are saluting to the audience. So I will go back to our faces. 1 second.
Hello.
I hope it's a bit clear. We tend to be a little bit
going too deep in details of
but that's why there's question and answers afterwards. We want to finish off with, or just talk about one more project we've done, and then after you can ask us all questions. the biggest project that we did till now was called Follow Us, and Follow Us is actually again a variation on the theme, in which we worked with a local parkour crew to make a similar kind of performance in which we use the parkour IDs. We didn't work with the chairs, we didn't work with the leather, we started from scratch, and we created a new piece. And this is also a big thanks to the organizer who came with the idea. He booked us in 2018 with Follow Me, where we made the show. We finished at a certain spot, and the year after he proposed to us like, hey guys, I have this great idea. We have a parkour crew here, and it would be amazing if you could make the part 2 of Follow Me and call it Follow Us. Start at the same spot and continue
with the group,
the exploration. So we've worked. It becomes a bigger project because it was, pedagogically also. It's a social artistic process there. So we teach them. We need to be at the same level to be able to make artistic choices together. So we decided to work with ropes, with hammocks, with musicians also, with a surfing board. So it's a full performance. We invite you to watch it because there is an after movie from 16 minutes. You can find it on Vimeo. It's on our video channel, which is called B Flat. We will watch just a small extract of the video to see what it was like. So we were 10 parkour youngsters from Leuven. There was 8 musicians from Ravno, which is our music process, and both of us, we were also joining in. And then there was 6 volunteers from the festival. So it was a huge group moving around, really about the strength of the group, even bigger. So Gitas, can you show the small extract of the video, please? We created a similar language with a new object to come to a new experience with the people.
Yeah.
So welcome back. I hope it was you had a few view. It was just what we call the Venetian part of the performance, where we play with the water. Actually, a very disgusting
sewage water.
The people know this river or thing, like everybody dumps its or used to dump its toilets inside, so it's quite nasty. But it was everything for the art, huh?
Yeah.
So we invite you to watch the full video. It's 16 minutes, and it gives a global idea. It's a chronological wise edited, so it gives you an idea of what it was. Yeah. Because this was this is the example of a one-shot performance. We played it 3 times. but we only made it for this event, and it's not. We don't want to adapt it to somewhere else.
No,
for now. So, Monica, do you already have some questions for us in the meantime?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much for the presentation. And you mentioned that you adapt yourselves to the space, but do you have to like a space in order to create in it? For example, what happens if you arrive 2 days before the performance and you realize that, well, this is just not what we expected at all?
Yeah, but we try always to find the best thing of the place. And we prepared ourselves with the site visit, so we know already how or which place that we will create the performance or perform. It's more in the site visit that for example, we come inside a city like Aalst and we see all the city, but it's just so difficult to make the perfect route for what we want to show in the performance. Would we stay here in this neighborhood with these options, or would we go to the other neighborhood where we can use a big building, or what? Yeah, this is the hardest part.
Every route has its advantages and the weaker points, the strengths and the weaknesses. And for example, in Aalst, we choose not to play in the center, but to go really out of town. So the positive thing was a great environment to play for us and to construct, but no people passing by, only the people that live there. So it's always talking with the organizer, what do they want? We could have played in the old town, but then, for us, it would have been acrobatic-wise less interesting, but for the organizer, more visibility. We know now that the piece can be played everywhere and that it's acceptable everywhere, but we're always searching our own interest and to make every piece
stronger with
and unique
local
actually.
Elements.
So it's even if you have a weak point in your artistic process or your route you're going to do, then we decide to go a little bit faster there and to stay a little bit longer on the elements we do like. So it's always adapting to it.
Yeah, and if it gets too complex, we use the method we called Occam's razor, which means that the most efficient thing that we can do it there, we should do it. We don't need to go too deep in other things. Just cut it and say, okay, we do this here, punt.
But for this, it's very important to define what you want to achieve. And the more you know what you want to achieve, the more clear your choices can be, because your choice goes to achieve the goal. You know why you choose it. So that's the nice thing in creating in duo, that you can always like argument. I would like to make this choice because we gain this with it. And then Key says, yes, we gain this, but we lose the other thing. So it's always what we call wikken en wegen. It's always finding the balance. Huh?
And what's the most complicated space in which you had performed?
A complicated, For example, the picture we showed of the one wall place, we didn't find a lot of elements. There was one wall, which was the back of a camping site. So it was like, adapting, really like say, okay, this is this wall. So we will really take the time to make something super nice with this wall. So people will think, remember this wall in a different way. And the rest, we can still put the elements. We still have the long road. Everywhere is a road.
We had the square.
We had some, we started in a small castle. So the starting spot was nice. The ending spot was nice. We didn't make A to B, but there we made a
circle.
A circle coming back to the starting point, because, it's not really the idea. We always want to move to where Seminaras, but it's.
When it's not possible, we adapt.
This was a good alternative, Other difficult spaces, it's difficult when you don't really have the authorization. For example, if you think you have the authorization, but if the organizer didn't do his job really well, and it's still like you're not really sure if you can do it, or if you, for example, there was one place and we were really counting on the inside of a school, the play yard where we could go. but actually the director of the school wasn't well informed. There was like this tension between the organizer and the director, and we couldn't go on the playground. They always say, yeah, tomorrow or this afternoon you can go, and then this afternoon went tomorrow this evening, no, tomorrow for the performance you can go. So we were about to play, but we never been there. So
we never passed it. We had an idea, but we never physically were there, because every time we went inside the school, there was this big drama with the director that came out and fight with every. Great.
Then we did the show, and we played 2 times that day. The first time was again a little bit wild, and the second time was much better because we had some time. So
then something else that's difficult is something that we call bottleneck. If you have a big group, 100 people is already a big group, and you want to pass tiny places, narrow places, that's really, it makes it more difficult because you want to keep on playing, but if there is only one person at the time that can pass a small door or a little stairway or a small passageway, it takes a lot of time. First,
it becomes a long sausage. So how can you make sure? So we needed to give an answer to this problem. How can we make sure that even if the people make a long line, they are still connected with what's happening? Whether the thing they're passing becomes something special. For example, there is someone in the middle of, they walk under a person who is in between the walls, so there's a nice connection. Or when they arrive on the other side, there's happening something, and there is still happening something in the back. So there's always two groups. We're 2, so we can adapt to this. It's always finding answers to challenges.
But for example, with Follow Us, where we were with 10 or even more, 20. It's more easy. You can really like make small groups and because you're more people, so it's easier to keep all the time a connection with all the audience. Then with 2, it's something you always need to be conscious of.
And when traveling around, you have to adapt not only to different public spaces, but also to different people and different mentalities. So how to make a connection with the audience, and do different audiences require different approaches?
We've played in Kaunas in Lithuania, which was actually for us such a great experience. It was super warm. This is what I remember. It was like maybe 35 degrees, and it was like heat stroke. And at first the site is different. The buildings are different. We were playing we started in the old orphanage place, which was the center of the festival. But then we decided we really wanted to go outreach and go to the blocks, the different buildings who are standing there, like the old Soviet style, which was for us, which we would say, lots of balconies, we can climb, but actually it's quite
hard,
monotone.
Monotone.
It's very similar all the time. So it was hard to find
different energies,
architectural wise, different dynamics in the show. So this made it harder in Lithuania. Architectural wise, also we noticed that in Lithuania people have the need. I don't know how it is in Vilnius, but in Kaunas, for example, most of the walls have this kind of metal plates laying on top of it, like I think it's against humidity or water. But for us, this makes it quite challenging, because if the sun
is all the time tapping on the metal and you want to climb it, you burn your hands if you wait a little too long.
So you climb very fast. And it's we adapt to it, but this was interesting in Lithuania.
But then people-wise, we felt in Lithuania, the first encounter with the people was more, they were a little shy, and they were a little afstandig, a little more, not directly with us, but they were like waiting a little. But then the moment we really connected with them and we started to move, they were there and they were loving it and they were following. And this is something when we went to Slovenia, for example, that was the first time that we were outside or in a context with another sort of people, another culture. We felt that we needed to make the beginning of the performance even more even more accessible, that you don't have the feeling that you're taking out of the performance as a volunteer, but that it happens because it need to happen. And sometimes in the beginning of the performance, the first step that we want to make is to interact with the people. But if the people, they are like a little afraid, or they don't really want to be joining in the performance, the first person that joins is the most important one. Because if this one goes like, no, I don't want, then it's hard.
Trouble.
So we needed to find the way, how can we connect with the persons even before they realize that we are connecting with them. Like just handing a stool and making a little funny already gives them a way of connection and trust that we won't fool around with them. Just this is in
I wanted just to show you some images from Circulația. So this was the old orphanage, which was great, a great element, a great building, which we had full use of. So we could go inside everywhere we wanted, use all windows, use the roof. So for us, this was a very strong element, and this made a big part of the show. As you can see, this is the people moving around. At the right-hand side, you can see Gildas, who is the organizer, who has a great mindset about art in public space. Must know this guy. Climbing down with a very nice front building, like this, the front of the building. And then this is the people, Lithuanian people, the young guys, but also the older men who was following. And I think this was for them a new experience in especially as as an art form. I don't think they've lived this before. So it was fun actually to see how the people enjoyed it. There's one other anecdote that we were playing with a metal drummer in Lithuania, great guy. Kastytis. Yeah, he was really motivated, and we actually asked him to build the drum kit on top of the an electric energy cabin box, and he was sitting on top ready to play when we were riding with the people. And he told us that at what moment he was ready to play, and there's something falling next to him, and he watches, and it's like, oh, it's an egg, and someone threw an egg to him from one of the balconies. Like, you're not welcome. You've been drumming all week already. So that was we had a great experience in Kaunas, and for us it's very interesting to adapt to different populations, different people, different reactions, and especially because they have a big influence in the show. This makes also that the piece feels different for us. So it's a nice experience for us as well. Yeah.
And how do you find balance between including people and being sure that you're not crossing that line where they feel uncomfortable already?
You mean like the people who are in the show, who are the followers, and the people who are passing by?
Passers-by. Okay. You said that you want to include them. So how do you find balance? How do you realize that maybe this person just doesn't want to do that? Do you still try to find ways to include him or her, or you leave him or her alone? So what's your strategy on that?
We play a lot of improvisations also, where we just go from what the people give us. So you can feel when you pass somewhere, if somebody is interested in you, or he asks you a question, or he looks to you like, into what is this guy doing, or what's happening here? Or when they look at you like, maybe I'm not very interesting, or I'm just passing by, or you can feel it directly.
Yeah, it's like intuition. Yeah, it's being streetwise in a way, but streetwise as a performer's way. It's like, someone passing by that's just walking front, that doesn't want to connect, but you feel it very fast. And sometimes, someone who's walking like this and you can interrupt him or her. It also works sometimes. It depends a lot of the. For me, I have the feeling we respond to this in an intuition, impulsive way of it's. We feel it. We try it. If it doesn't work, we let go. And it's finding again the balance of like, is this really necessary that this person now does this, or actually is this an anecdote? We can drop it and we continue for the actual thing.
But in Follow Me, there is interaction with everybody around us or things that happen, but it's not only this thing. It's the side things that color a little the performance. For example, we were passing in Ghent, in our city. We were making a round, and Ward was hanging me at the roof, just like we did in Bruges with the picture with the old lady. And he was hanging me, and in one moment the door opens, and like the guy, the owner of the house, comes out, but we didn't saw him, we didn't talk with him, so he comes out very annoyed because it's already the second time that we pass there and make noise there. And then he see Ward, he see me hanging upside down next to him, and then he sees 100 people sitting watching. So in this moment, it's a little awkward, and everybody is surprised. But also the audience is like, they're like, oh, what's happening here?
Yeah, but then afterwards we went to talk with him, and it was fine. He was okay with it. We also have a very good insurance, so if we break something or there is a negative thing, we can fix it. But also, the thing is, in Follow Me, the followers, they are visibly, you can see them. The follower is wearing a chair, so he's kind of a bit exclusive, is the one who has the ticket, the one who's really doing the show. So they're always a bit more engaged. They stay together. They're like, people are like sheep. They're like a group, and they move together. And actually, we always said people that don't have a chair, they're welcome. From the moment we leave the starting spot and the opening scene where everybody gets the chair, once we leave this more intimate place, we go into public space, and there everybody is welcome, and everybody should be integrated. Then, of course, normally if we follow normal society rules of like how do you behave in public space, people will not break this rule, except from the Italian, for example, or if you pass a group of drunk people who are shouting and then you need to adapt and you need to play with it, and mostly the right thing to do is just to make short interaction and then just continue but the fact that we come with this much energy and this we take the moment that's a bit our solution on it. We arrive with so many people, so most of the time people are just a bit
overdone, like
overwhelmed.
And there's certainly an element of improvisation and surprise in what you do, something that just can't be planned in advance. So how do you prepare for the unexpected? Can you give a few tips?
But again, it's about the intuition. It's about impulsive things, and that's for us. Again, we fall back on our relation we have together. We know each other for this long time. We've shared this much experiences, so we know how the other will react. And it's now, after all those years, we start to have this kind of solutions to everything. For example, we have a duo which is called Ludo and Arsène, and it's actually our Corona proof show for now. That makes that we can play in every context. It's actually a duo that moves around with the ladder, and we don't know what we're going to do. We're just moving around, and we connect with the situation, the location, and also the general context. So, for example, we're walking by, and there's someone saying, "Hey,
what are you doing here?
What's this ladder?" And we start something, and it's an improv. So, of course, it depends the place. Is there music playing? Is there no music playing? Is the person sitting? Do we sit? And then we start to play, and we don't need to do anything. It's not a written piece as for like Follow Me, but it's open, so we can play in every conditions. This is also our alternative if it rains, for example. For if we would play and it starts raining, we will still play Ludo en Arsène. It will not be written because it would be too dangerous. But Ludo en Arsène mostly do the same type of movements, but in an improvised way. So we can always say, no, I don't feel it.
No, it's too dangerous, and
we go into something else.
Back, yeah. But the thing to keep you ready on uncertain things that happen at the moment. For example, we were in Slovenia, in Krško, like there with the boys, the small boys, and then we forget to prep the garbage bin. There is a scene that we take food outside the garbage bin. So you arrive there and we realize, what do we need to do? Because we cannot play the scene that we wanted to play. And then there is just the rule, like somebody proposed and you just follow with the proposition of the other one, and you just see where it leads. And normally, or with us, usually it goes from itself, because we are very connected and we know, like Ward said, we know what the other will do or propose, or what you can do.
That's the nice thing of being two. It's always, you're always in relation to someone else. But of course, if it would be a solo, you're always in relation to the audience. Or for a circus artist, you're always in relation to your object very often. But it's nice to when you make an action, even if it's improvised, to always follow the intuition and take your time to do it. Also, sometimes it's nice to step back and really wait. And for us, a silence is very great, actually. Sometimes silence doesn't exist in public space. So a real silence doesn't exist. So there's always new
card
input.
Passing or something. And
it can always influence you in one way. You just need to open up all your senses to it. Your ears, your nose, your eyes. Always be very open. It's an attitude in a way.
It's in a way, you always need to have fun. This is like the main point. If you have fun, then everything can happen, because it's fun and it's everybody's with you. If it's become more hard, always try to have fun. And if you're two, it's easy, because you just have fun with two, and then there is 100 people having fun with you too. So
And would you say there are some personal qualities that help to perform in a public space?
Personal qualities. Of course. We come from parkour, and parkour became part of our identity. The people who we cross in the street that know us for a long time, they always say, this is the parkour guys. So our relation or our experience with concrete, with the urban setting, it's really a big advantage in this show. I mean, it's but beside this, we know we have different characters. I'm much more of a talker and more, I think more like this, and Key is more open-minded in some way, and this is complementary. So this is it's very nice to feel that. A different energy brings a different sauce to the plate. Does this respond to your question?
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned before that when you are new to the scene, it might be difficult to find the right partners, the right organizations. It seems that you have achieved that. So can you give a few tips to young artists who would like to enter the scene, how to find the right partners for yourself?
I think first you need to know what do you want to do, to have a little concept. It can be vague, but a little idea of what you want to bring, and then you need to think about who can you help, who can help you with what you do. For example, we wanted to make something for the street, so we went talking to festivals or organizations that did things on the street, and we will just talk with them about what's our idea and how we can collaborate or make things, how they can help us, how we can help them to make this thing happen.
Yeah,
in fact,
and this actually, if you don't have the full concept yet, it's not a problem. It's just very important that you defend your idea and that you're really behind what you want to make, and that you search the right people, as Key explained. Like, you search the right people to talk about it, and if you find the right partners, you'll feel it straight away. They will come with propositions or questions that will make you reflect in order and function to make your piece better.
Yeah.
For example, we had crazy ideas, and then they said, yes, it's very good, but how will you do this? and we're like, fuck, we never thought about this.
Yeah.
And so it's actually it nourishes your project in a way to and don't be shy. Like, don't be shy. Make the contact, and then they will. Yeah, it will go fine. It's important to know also the sector you're going into. For example, for us, in this project, it's street theater or circus festivals. But yeah, then we're going to do it in Belgium. So we searched Belgian different organizations, ask colleagues, other artists who are doing it already much longer, people you like certain works. For example, there is works that are quite similar to our proposition. Then ask them. They ask them, like, how was it for you to where did you perform, or how is this person, and is it the right organizer to contact with this question?
Yeah, and also find somebody where you can. For us, it was Craig Weston, the dramaturge, but find somebody with who you can really dig into the thing that you want to bring, and find words to define the things that you want to do, because in the beginning it's so vague and it's so open, and you need to find a way to structurize the ideas that you have in the head and the things that you do. Put names on these things so you can make it more clearly for the people, and the more you talk about it with other people, the more clear it will also become in your head, because you get questions and you start thinking about things that you never thought about, and like this it becomes.
For us, it's always about thinking bottom up. Like, what's the roots? What's the root? What's the funding of the idea? Where do you come from? And on top of your roots or the fundamentals, you can start construct but it's always interesting also to let them go and to find new stuff. But in the end, you will feel that the thing you achieve, it's always very strong related with the roots at the start, or the intention of the beginning. Yeah.
And we have a few questions from the audience. So, what is your definition of a public space? And also, how does an artist who creates and performs on the streets is different from the rest?
What is public space? Public space is just everything that's not private or semi-private. Like, for example, it goes from the street to parks to almost things that are accessible by the public, but are also maybe a little semi-private. Like, you have these places where you can go inside or you can pass through without a problem, but the moment you take a seat or take a position somewhere, there is security coming to tell you that you need to pass on.
But it's also public space. Yeah, and even musea, for me, or even buildings that are used for a different. For example, if it's a hangar, how to say.
Hangar.
No, yeah. Even very specific buildings like that are normally not used for cultural events or whatever. If you have an art piece happening inside, or just an event happening inside, for me it becomes public space. Even if it's for a short period, it becomes accessible for everybody. So for me, public space and accessible for everybody is very important. They go hand in hand. And the difference between street artists and other people, for me, who's the other people? I think no. The street artist finds its strength in the fact that you really need to catch the audience in a way. If you play in the streets, everybody is normally the passers-by who don't come to see the show. They're on a mission. They need to go somewhere. They're in their daily life, and actually the street artist is able to change their journey, to make them stop and watch, or that to catch someone by different things. It can be very small. It can be just a painting on a wall that's subtle, but people that see it and that take the time to really like think, why did this person put this sticker, for example, on the wall? And this I think is the strength of the street art, is that he needs to find ways to connect with the audience, instead of just the artist who knows people buy tickets to come and see me, so I'll be ready. Yeah. I think so, huh?
Yeah.
And is this different than another artist? Yeah, the context.
I think
is,
but every artist has also his own way of finding the interest in where he's performing in the streets, finding the strong holds that he can use to bring something, to collect the people in the street that's passing or that's sitting there.
And again, adaptation, I think it's for every street artist. You need to be super mobile. It's a very or flexible, not only mobile, but it's a real strength if you have if you can play in every condition. It's of course you need to be able to bring the thing you need, the piece you made. You need to have the right conditions to bring it, but it's nice when you're constructing it to say, I make this choice because I really need to have it. If not, I try to keep it as much open as possible. Yeah.
So thank you very much. It's been great talking to you both. I'm going to see you next year in Vilnius. And thanks to everyone who watched us. I'd like to remind you that today at 3 o'clock there is going to be the final discussion of the program. So I encourage you all to join it. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.